Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Oh, gosh, how pumped I am to be here with you guys on a Tuesday, a big victory Tuesday, a busy Tuesday. Get this. I haven't had time to even get my thoughts straight about the show, which is completely normal as per our usual arrangement. So good to see everybody here in the chat. Richard Arias, so good to see you, my brother. Kevin McBrayer, good to see you. He's going for the corner. He's going to talk about football with some friends. That's exactly right. Money B, so good to see you, Mr. Rodolfo, Jay Ward, Blake Winfrey. Oh, we have some videos from Jay Ward that we need to get to today. We owe the people that, Blake. We'll make sure to get to that at some point. Sandman 23, the big jokester with the little dots and the periods. Hashtag Sark After Dark. So good to see you, Mr. Craig Simlinger. Great to see you, Colin Crowder, Jamari Lee, Eric Alvarez. Gosh, all right. And so you guys have already seen the theme of the day here. Worst airline. We just need to talk about it. Which one's the worst? As usual, I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion here. Let's see, Money B. It is, of course, fun as hell. Thanks you so much for tuning in, fellas, ladies and fellas. We always appreciate having you. Big show today. I'm gonna talk about what I wrote about today in the deep dig. Tavondre Sweat versus Hassan Ridgeway. That's basically what we've come down to here. And through the course of the last couple games, we're going to dive into, what it was that Ridgeway did, what it was that Sweat's done, because the two have, once I looked into it a whole lot, very, very, very similar profiles. We had the Matt Campbell press conference today where he threw his quarterback under the bus and said he shouldn't be talking about anybody else's athleticism. So we'll talk about that. How to attack Iowa State, watch the Iowa State versus BYU game. Have some distinct thoughts about Iowa State defensive, just Iowa State in general. I feel differently about Iowa State now than I did 4 hours ago after watching, the BYU game. We have that. We have Texas needs to put on his big boy pants. It's time for Texas to put on their big boy pants. It's time to play some big boy football. I'm going to explain exactly why and how here shortly. We have Taco Tuesday over on Prize Picks. We'll put together oh gosh, can you believe what happened last night on Prize Picks? Blake, I just have to show you this. There's nothing as tilting as this. I felt really good about last night's entry on Monday Night Football. And look what ended up happening. Look at this. How do I share my screen? I've only been doing this for like 4 months now. Prize Picks. Look at this thing. Latavius Murray, I said that was super easy, over 17.5 rushing yards. He goes for 68. Will Lutz, more than a 6.5 point fantasy score. He gets there easily. Dalton Kincaid, more than 52.5 receiving yards. Gets us right here to 51. We needed 2 more yards. Well, hopefully we'll get back on track tonight with the Taco Tuesday. Let's see here. Another mortgage down the drain. I'm so sorry, Jay Ward. The good news is that you're a private dick these days, and so you can make that money back super easily from some rich guy whose wife has some new secret boyfriend. Pete Thamel had Pete Thamel had the tweet earlier. Blake, can you pull that thing up that Pete Thamel tweeted earlier about Quinn Ewers? Because what happened yesterday was so Ketch came out with the report on Monday about how Quinn Ewers might be leaning towards coming back. We talked about it yesterday for like an hour, and I promise I'm not going to. We have other things to get to, right? We're on to Iowa State, but still, I mean, it's the quarterback of the team. So I mean, when the news comes up, it's fine. But what happened after that is there was just a flurry of other sites that came up with this kind of their own narratives around this, kind of acting like they were breaking some kind of news, and just did that like they always do. These other sites, they circle around like a bunch of yapping hyenas and just chances are now it's 90% viewers is coming back, like all this. And Catch at that point was like, whoa, tap the brakes. Tap the brakes a little bit here. Like these guys saying 90%. I'm not sure if that's like. The decision hasn't been made and all the rest. Catch said, I think it'd be the right thing to do, but look, the decision hadn't been made. Blake, can we put up the tweet from let's see. Pete Thamels. Okay, sources. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers has yet to decide on whether to declare for the NFL draft. There's been early conversations about potential return to Texas, but there's, quote, a long way to go. And then he follows it up by saying, Ewers has been viewed since high school as a 3 and done, but he left high school early and has played only 2 years. An NFL decision won't be made for weeks. So there you go. I mean, it's like, I mean, I just can't believe people come in and say, well, it's already 90% done. It's like, of course it's not 90% done. You simpletons. It's like, who are you hearing that from? You know, and it's like, well, we still have a 10% chance that we can get out of it, and it doesn't matter because our users and our fan bases aren't ever going to call us out for this. You know, like they're not going to call us. They get reports. So many of these guys get reports wrong all the time. It's so bad, Blake. It is bad. Some of this stuff where they say that this dude's out for 6 weeks and then he's back at practice the next day, you know, and like nobody's like, it's like for the, like, and I'm not gonna call people out by name, but it's borderline irresponsible. Gosh, he's so right about this. I'm telling you, it's these journos. I'm telling you, man, it's why people have lost trust in the media, man. A lot of these people act like morons in every aspect of society. But anyway, so that's where we are with Quinn. Things haven't changed from
Ketch's initial report.
That's what it was yesterday. I'll tell you this, Blake. After watching Iowa State today, I can't tell you how glad I am that Malik Murphy's not playing quarterback versus these guys. I just we'll talk about why later. But man, they got some DBs. They have a good coverage unit. Other than that, though, there are some things that I am not supremely worried about with this particular team. Blake Winfrey in the chat saying that Southwest is the worst airline. Maybe it's from personal experience, but they have the worst flight attendants. Blake, you've taken my exact sentiment from me, and this is proof that, like, my dad used to always tell me that Southwest Airlines was it can see here. I can't put it up because I don't want you to see, but it has a little heart on it. It's a Southwest Visa card. I've quit using it because I don't care about getting the miles with them anymore. The experience has been so bad, and it feels like for the last 2 years, I've had situations when I fly that like no other airline has, and it's like there's a big line of people standing at the Southwest gate, and like no other airlines are having the problems. And it's just like, what? Like, like, are you telling me it's just Southwest that, you know, whose systems are down? But my dad used to always tell me that, like, this is one of our great American companies. Like, you know, they had an awesome founder, and the CEO had this revolutionary idea and all this stuff. It feels like I have no idea what happened. Maybe a change of leadership, something, man. They definitely went down the drain recently. So yeah, that's my take as far as worst airline. I'd be interested to hear from the rest of you guys. I used to always say it would be American Airlines. I think American Airlines feels amazing nowadays.
Pretty great.
I think it's great that Southwest has been. It's been a total flip flop from.
I'll go American or Delta every time.
Is the worst?
No. As the ones I use, I don't really use the other ones unless there's like a great deal, but. Generally, I'm like flying American or Delta.
Money B saying, "I hope." What are you talking about? My companion pass, or are you trying to get to your companion pass? I think my wife has a claim on mine if I get to it this year. Money B, I do love you though, brother. All right, so just a quick reminder before we get started here with the rest of this stuff. If you guys could please like the show, subscribe to the channel. That's super important. I have it written up here at the very top. Also, my email is alex@rosterwatch.com. If you'd like to talk with me about anything, you know, you'd like to kind of share your input or give comments, suggestions about the show, interested in sponsoring the show, working with us in any kind of way, you can get me there, alex@rosterwatch.com. Let's see. I think we have Blake. This is got an email you can show us. Oh, this is Jay Ward again?
Yeah, we got Jay Ward.
God, Jay Ward, be careful. Oh gosh, is that it? So
let's make that bigger. Hold on.
He stayed on the whole time.
I think he did. Hold on, we gotta play that again. Give me this.
Poor Darwin Lemon coming in here needing a moment of silence for Jay Brooks. We had our whole Jay Brooks breakdown yesterday. Darwin, I wish you would have been here, brother. All right, let's see. God, Jay Ward. Jeez, hold on to that. Hold on tight, Jay Ward. Don't kill yourself, brother.
That's pretty good.
It's nice, man. Jay
I don't know if
Jay
that was. I don't know if that was 8 seconds, but it was.
Jay Ward's got that hip. He's got that hip flexion, man. He could be an edge rusher. Goodness gracious. Nice work, brother. Home from a few years ago. Why do you still do this, Jay Ward? Aren't you like 40? Golly.
I think he's moved on. He's just reminiscing on the glory days.
Yeah, man. You need to give that stuff up, man. You're gonna break your neck, brother. We need you. We need you around here, man. Come on. You can. Hey, Money B. He can still live life in the fast lane without riding these bulls, man. Come on, man. Oh gosh. Okay. So Jay Ward's 32. He's just kind of like me. He's got an old man soul. Tavondre Sweat versus Hassan Ridgeway. Because what I wanted to do today is just like, is Tavondre Sweat the best defensive player that I've covered at the University of Texas since starting to do all this cockamamie deep dig stuff back in 2013? And the answer was surprising. Okay, and so here's what goes into it. So when I do the deep dig since 2015 is when I started using the template that I have right now, right? Back in 2013 and 2014, what I would do is I would just keep it in a Google Drive document and do it differently every single game, and then I would manually kind of put them together. At that point in time, Ketch had just kind of hired me on as I was he hired me just to write the column, right? So I was a contributor to the site, but I was not I wasn't a full-time employee. I guess I'm still not a full-time employee. I'm technically a contractor, but it wasn't how do I say this the right way, Blake? I wasn't getting paid like full-time money, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, full-time staff, whatever that means.
Staff. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was on. I'd like to think I was on staff. Saying, man, I was not an intern. I was not an intern. I was an analyst, right? But all I did was write the one column, and I didn't know it was going to be something where it would be a decades-long thing, and so for that first year, I was just kind of doing it seat of the pants, using the same system, but not having it in the same template I have now where I can go through and share it with you guys and search for all the different, search through all the different Money B's calling me a water boy, Alex. This isn't true. I'm getting once again, I'm getting harassed online. Assistant to the regional manager. Sandman, you're about to get blacklisted, brother. Okay. But so basically back then what I had to do is I made like little graphics, and back then I made them like more artsy and stuff like that. It's just stupid stuff that you do when you're starting out and trying to just distinguish yourself, and all that is. So that is to say, when I went back and I had to get all the stuff to do the historical comps for the deep dig on the offensive line and stuff, I had to go back on one of my old computers that I don't even have anymore and find the little graphics that I made to upload and then put onto Orange Bloods to show as graphics for the deep dig, right? And that's how I got that information. But if I wanted to go back and comb through the information from 2013 and 2014 now, I physically don't have a way to do it, right? I can look back at those old columns, though, and see what they've said about what the numbers were, like the snaps per production caused, or most notably the snaps per disruption. Those were easy on offensive line because I had graphics made at the end of each year where I could just look at it and read it and then input them into the new system. And now I have them for posterity's sake. But 2015 is where I can go to really look at stuff easily. The only guys from 2013 and 2014 that I recognized through just reading back through the deep dig columns from that year that had snaps per production cause numbers that would kind of put them in the same stratosphere as some of these other guys that I'm about to talk about were Malcolm Brown, and his was always it would fluctuate between like 5.58 and like 6.13, right? Kind of about where Anthony Hill and Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy have been this year. And then there was also Jordan Hicks, and with Hicks, he was a linebacker, and there was just a lot of volume went around with that, and his was a little bit higher, like up in the sevens. He was kind of like a Malik Jefferson, right? So with all that being said, so those are the guys from 2014 and 2013 that I can't look back and just show you what the exact number was, but I can tell you what it was as I was writing the columns and where it was fluctuating throughout the course of the season, right? Tavondre Sweat is clearly at a level higher than those guys as far as his efficiency per snap. All right. So with that being said, if we talked yesterday about the penalty on Tavondre Sweat and the fact that if that penalty would not have occurred, if I would have not accounted that penalty against him for the face mask, and I would have given him the TFL, which would have been the right thing to do, right? It would have been the right thing to do because he was unjustly penalized. He unjustly had a TFL taken away from him for a horrible cockamamie call by that idiot. God, these idiot refs. And look, they're bad. They're bad to the other teams too. All right, like Texas gets good calls too, but I mean, it tilted me with this one because his numbers this year would literally be exactly the same as we already talked about this yesterday, right, Blake? They would be exactly the same as Tavondre Sweat. Or Tavondre Sweat would be exactly the same as Jalen Ford here because it would have added literally 3 points, 2 points for the TFL. 1 point would just come back to his grade from the fact that he had a penalty, right? So he would be sitting at 67.5, and his market share would be 9.17% of the team's total, or something right there, because it would adjust a little bit, right? Because there would be 3 extra points of production added, but it would be right. It would be like 9.14% or something, right? Mm-hmm. But he would have done it on 342 snaps as opposed to 568. Okay, right now, Tavondre Sweat is sitting at 5.3 snaps per production caused. You say, so Alex, what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, let me tell you what that means. Let's just compare him historically. And the reason why I couldn't do this stuff, the reason why I couldn't do this stuff about just denying the fact that he got the penalty or giving him the TFL or the reason is because I like to go back and like I didn't do that for anybody else. You know, why give him special treatment? I need to be able to look back. That's what the deep dig does, is it gives us a historical gauge by which to measure where these players are, right? And so with this guy working, man, what he's saying here is he's saying we don't need numbers to know Sweat is the man. And I agree with you, brother. We really don't. But we do need numbers to say, is he the best defensive player of the last decade at Texas? Is he the best, right? And so because Texas has had some good players come through, man. There have been guys that you forget that are still good and they're still in the NFL. So whenever I went back and looked and just at the historical efficiency numbers, I think you'll be maybe you won't be surprised. Maybe this isn't a big surprise, but Sweat has been more productive on a per snap basis than Jalen Ford 2020. So remember, Tavondre Sweat sitting at production calls once every 5.30 snaps. So he's been more productive on a per snap basis than Jalen Ford from last season, who was a better version of Jalen Ford. I don't know if that's something that we want to talk about or if that's something that you know we need to get into. But he was better last year. He was at 6.83 snaps per production caused. Okay, he was better than the freshman year 2021 breakout from Byron Murphy when Byron Murphy came in and went nuclear, right? He went bananas. Everybody was saying, who is this? He's going to be gone in 3 years. Now he's probably going to be gone in 3 years. That year, he was at 5.87 is where he finished that season. Joseph Osai in his final 2020 season was at 6.28 snaps per production caused. That was 2020. 2019, you got studs like DeMarvion Overshone at 6.01. You have Brandon Jones that's been an NFL stud. He was at 8.77 in 2019. Charles Omenihu in 2018 was at 8.14.
He's been playing pretty well for the Chiefs last few months.
He's been Charles Omenihu.
His whole career has been good, but it kind of dropped off. He had that arrest or whatever it was, and then got past that. He's been making plays.
Yeah, and he was a dude. He was a good enough player to where wasn't he? He was drafted originally by Houston, right?
Houston, yeah.
And then he was a good enough player to where Houston got like a second or a third round pick for him whenever he got traded to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'll have to look up that trade.
I mean, good enough to be a tradable asset, like at the trade deadline, right? So that's how good, that's the kind of player. So he was an 8.14. Brandon Jones that year was at a 10.02. Malcolm Roach, still a good NFL player right now, was at a 10.08. Chris Boyd, is he still in the NFL? I'm not sure if he is. He was for a good, yes, he still is. 10.47. Caden Stearns hurt, but still certainly in the NFL. 10.47. That was 2018. In 2017, Holton Hill, can you believe this? Holton Hill was at 6.11. Probably the most productive corner that Texas has had in the last decade. Puna Ford that year was at 6.3. Deshaun Elliott was at 6.57. Malik Jefferson was at 7.11. And these are the top guys, right? And the big studs for this team. The one guy that shows up in this, which one of these guys is not like the other, Brecken Hager in 2016 was at 5.83.
Whoa!
If you remember him from that, if you remember him from that year, let me just go. Let's go look at 2016 and see what Hager did to where he was that good. Okay, so Hager that year, okay, so he played 481 snaps too. So I mean, it was on massive volume, but he was playing that Fox role, right? That Charlie Strong had, and Vance Bedford. Mm-hmm. Where they would have the kind of like the buck linebacker is, but a lot different, a lot more of a hybrid kind of linebacker type than the guys that play the buck end now. Kind of a lot more like the role that Jet Bush plays right now. Another blonde lunch pail guy, right? But nowhere near as productive.
Are you meaning to share a screen, by the way? I was just curious.
I can.
No, you don't have to. I was making sure you.
What he did that year, what he did that year was he had 32 tackles. Brecken had 5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 8 pressures, 7 TFLs, 1 batted pass, 1 fumble cause, 1 fumble recovery, 12 run stuffs, 8 missed tackles. So the monster year clearly for Brecken Hager, right? So we get back to this. Malcolm Roach in that same year had a 6.36 snaps per production caused. Malik Jefferson in 2016 had 8.09 snaps per production caused. And as of this episode of Football with Friends, T'Vondre Sweat's the best of the last decade because he's at 5.30. Will he stay there? We're not sure because Hassan Ridgeway in 2015 was at 5.31.
Oh, wow.
He's just a tiny bit
games left.
Tiny bit better, right? We'll see. I for one would still almost consider Sweat, even if he finishes a little bit above. I know I can't say he was the most efficient on a per snap basis because that's why we do the deep dig, right? But I would say that just given his size and given to what he can bring and given to everything, and it's not like Ridgeway was small, right? What did Charlie call him? Charlie called him Green Mile, right? He called him like old John Coffey from the Green Mile movie, right? He just lay his hands on you and get rid of Tom Hanks's kidney stones. I think for Sweat, his size. And the fact, man, he's so fast and has such twitch and all the rest of it. And clearly you can't double count that because he's so fast and he's so big and he has such twitch. That's why he's been able to do what he's done. But also he's been swindled out of 3 points in the deep dig that probably would have brought him down to like a below sub 5.3, right? And I think that should count, even though I can't let it count. And then there's also the it feels like that guy's meant a lot more to this team than Hassan Ridgeway ever meant to that football team.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, look, I think that he's the best in the history of the deep dig. Sweat is. We have Jerry Tolliver saying, "I'll take Puna over A. Collins." I think I will too. I told you guys yesterday about what?
Definitely take Puna over Collins.
Well, okay. We have a super chat here from Ben Webb. Can you pull that up, Blake? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Kind of in a different thing here. Mm-hmm. Okay, Ben Webb. Thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. And again, you guys, I have this note here. If you could please like the show, subscribe to the channel, And if you have questions, just ask away, or you can always email me, alex@rosterwash.com. The questions, you can put them in super chat if you want to. If you're low on cash, you don't want a super chat, just put them in, and I'll answer them either way. But we'll get to the super chat ones quick, but the super chats certainly do help. So thank you, Ben Webb. I think the eye test backs up the numbers. It seems like you can feel Sweat and Murphy on that. I mean, you can feel them through the TV screen. You don't even have to be on the football. Coaches say they can feel these guys. Being down there on the football field, you can feel them through the TV screen. They're monsters, and their styles really contrast each other so very well, right? You have Murphy, who is such a he's bigger than an Aaron Donald, but kind of has a style like him, just an attacking, bulldogging, menacing, upfield penetration guy, a Tasmanian devil, a whirling dervish, whereas Tavondre Sweat is just this absolute mountain with these feet where you would just say, how on earth could this man have these feet like this? And he's got like this artistry over on the other side. It's kind of hard to believe that the 365-pound dude's the one that you would consider sort of the three technique with the more the more gifted abilities for manipulating another man in space and to being able to close and all the rest of it. But that's kind of the way it is. And to see those styles contrast with those two guys in those two different bodies, it's just, man, you look up and you just say, oh my gosh, it's just crazy.
What about this question in the chat? Jalen Ford, the best linebacker since Derek Johnson?
I mean, do you guys think he's a better college linebacker than Malik Jefferson was? I'm not sure I'd go that far.
I think he was last year. But as far as an overall career,
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think it'd be hard to say he's better. I think it'd be hard to say he's better than Overshown. Now he was more productive. He was more productive last season, right? He's more productive than Overshown, but it was a mass volume tackling season. Mm-hmm. Like he got there on pure volume of tackles. He was kept really, really clean, and he just like a volume
turnovers. I mean, yeah, ball hawking for sure.
And the turnovers, right? And that's probably been the biggest difference this year in his snaps per production caused and all the rest of it.
That was bound to even out, Alex. I mean, that was just a freak year. Yeah. It was every game. It was like, how long was the interception streak? It was like 5-6 games.
Yeah. Jamar Lee saying he's better than Overshown. He's not maybe he's better in college. He's not going to be drafted as highly as DeMarvion Overshown was. Like there's no way you guys can quote me on that. Oh, another thing I was right about. This Aggie coach. So now everyone's talking Quinn to the Senior Bowl possibly. Now now the whole Aggie coaching situation. It's like everything I say on here just makes it out to the mainstream media. They must be tuning in. I'm going to tell you all about it next.
Real quick, we have a $50 super chat onward from Dartboard, who says, everyone is talking about conservative play calling. Jesus, we had Greg Davis play calling with Chris Sims, and we beat teams like this by 5 touchdowns regularly. It's true.
Yeah, and I wasn't there for that, but the one that you probably didn't have is getting 20-something point leads on people and then like blowing them, and then having to find a way to have a culture win when it's all said and done. And then that came up, and he's like, hey, nobody wants to play more complete 4 quarters than me, but they're going to keep working on it and figure out how to motivate the guys. And catch and Jason, we're 10 games in. I mean, there's nothing that's going to change. Like, you're that far into the season, you are who you are. This is what this team is. They will get a good lead, and then they're going to have to probably hold on for dear life. They're going to have play against mediocre quarterbacks who somehow are going to throw for 300 yards against the secondary. He did say Johnny Bear was a little bit banged up. I mean, just this is the team. We could talk about all the areas of improvement, or we could just accept the reality of like, this is just what it is.
Anwar, I think the scary thing is that it was clear. I don't think Quinn Ewers is 85%. They clearly didn't want him getting tackled. They didn't want him getting hit.
Mhm.
I think he threw the ball really well. Like, I don't know how sore he's going to be or whatever, but like his body language seemed to tell us, I don't feel great. Even if he played, I think pretty good. They coached him like, get the ball out fast. I think it somewhat limited the offense. I think TCU made some adjustments. I think that quick pass game that they were working in the first half completely goes away. And if you look next week, I don't know that Quinn Ewers is going to be 100%. You're probably getting a lot of the same thing, right? We don't want Quinn to get hit at all, if at all possible, but they're not going to have Jonathan Brooks.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Okay, we're back. Football with friends. Oh my gosh, we're having a great time today. So happy to see everybody here in the chat. Of course, Jamari Lee calling me Alex Schefter. Indeed. Let's see. We have all these guys: Christopher Lyons, Ben Webb, Jamari Lee making it in. A little dabble to you. That'll be good. Let's see. A little dabble to you is asking Alex, where are you hunting over Thanksgiving? Menard County. Going to Menard County. It's an all new spot, so very, 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 very likely to get skunked, especially because I'll probably have to ditch the Friday morning hunt to be able to get back in time. So I'll get there Wednesday. I'll have a kind of figure it out kind of scouting session. Hope I just like, oh my God, an access, like bam, like hopefully I can just do some calling. I have these little easy access calls, the doe calls and the buck calls. I'll see if I can call them and find where they're at. There's a little section of the San Saba River there that I have access to that I think they come up and down. So if there's a way that they can move or right around there. A lot of it's a dry bed there where they could be coming over. So anyway, you probably didn't want to hear that much, but I'm just having to do the scouting right now on X because I've never been out there. But yeah, man, hopefully we can find them. It's not easy. It's not easy when they just and you can't just turn on a corn feeder and have access come in. It's just not how it works. Okay. I was right yet again. Believe it or not, I was right.
Alex Schefter.
And there's nothing more. There's truly guys like, I love this show and stuff, and I love hunting, I love fishing, but there's nothing I love talking about more than just being right. Okay, so get this. First, listen to this from Front Office Sports on Instagram. Texas A&M's payments to Jimbo Fisher after firing him within 60 days, $19.4 million. Within 120 days, an additional $7.27 million. 2025, $7.27 million. 2026, $7.27 million. 2027, same thing, 7.2. 2028, 7.2. 2029, 7.2. 2030, 7.2. 2031, 7.2. It makes me sad to even think about that because I think about how far away 2031 is. My daughter might be like a sophomore in high school by then. It's like I want to cry just thinking about it. I cannot. It seems like a lifetime away. They're going to be paying this dude $7.2 million a year until then.
And he can do whatever he wants in the meantime.
My gosh, man.
There's no clause that requires him to not have a job somewhere else.
Let's see. Oh my gosh. Is that the deal? He can't work for somebody else, right?
No, he can.
He can.
He can do whatever he wants.
I can't believe that. I mean, Money B saying, I forgot what the Bobby Bonilla deal is, but every year there's Bobby Bonilla Day.
He gets over $1 million every year, and it's been going on forever, and it goes on until 2035. This is different because he's getting $7.2 million a year for the next however long.
I can't believe it. Text guy too said, "Oh, he orders Football with Friends merch." Thank you, brother. We certainly appreciate that. We do have a promo code that's good. I think through the next 2 days. What's that thing called, Blake? Merch promo code Holiday Z10 that they get 10% off, and apparently it's 10% off that they're taking. So I don't know. You get 10. So what? These hats are like $29. You get like $3 off. So if you're interested in that, you can find the link to the link to it. So via Sportsline odd makers, who will be the next full-time Texas A&M football coach? And at number one, the guy who I said on this show, I said, who are they going to hire? And I thought to myself, all right, who's the one guy they could hire who makes sense? And the first dude that came to my head, Jeff Traylor, because he makes all the sense in the world. East Texas roots, awesome ball coach. And the one coach that you figure they could probably afford, he's just been at UTSA. They're paying all this money. He's probably the guy who they could have talked to beforehand. And maybe just, I don't think you make this drastic a move unless you kind of have your guy already, even though there are rules against that. Or in college, do you even have to interview? Like, I don't think there's rules about how you have to interview a bunch of people and stuff,
yep.
Right?
I know you were working on the deep digging stuff. Ketch and Chad had Billy Lucci on today to talk about it. And he kind of hinted that they're going to go through the process. And this isn't like we have our sights set on one guy, but Traylor is definitely in the mix.
Dude, Traylor would be. And Tex guy saying he's not been in charge of an operation this big before. I know he's never been at one, but he's been at big schools, and he's a hell of a football coach. I'll tell you what, man. Do you know what the number one sign it would be a good hire is? It scares the dickens out of me. I don't want A&M to hire him. I don't want A&M to hire him. Look at what he's done at UTSA. Just go click UTSA schedule and just click on it and look at 2023. Look at 2022. Look at 2021. It's a bunch of green W's, man. That guy's done a heck of a job. He's a great coach. He's going to be able to recruit East Texas like nobody's business. So here are the odds: Jeff Traylor's plus 300, Mike Elko's plus 300, Kalen DeBoer's plus 500. Dan Lanning is plus 600. Elijah Drinkwitz is plus 900. Lance Leipold plus 1,000. Kleiman plus 1,200. Fleck plus 1,500. Kingsbury plus 1,700. Now you're getting into the cockamamie ones like James Franklin's plus 2,000. You could bet on Lane Kiffin plus 2,500. You could bet on Norvell plus he would not do that.
Norvell's not
3,000. Urban Meyer plus 5,000. Deion Sanders plus 5,000. But
Urban Meyer 50-1. I kind of like those odds. I don't think he's going to be coach there.
Oh man, even A&M couldn't get themselves in that big of a pickle. What if they get Urban Meyer and they got to fire him too and pay him set? Like now you got $14 million a year going out the window for the next 15 years because you went big on the Jimbo Fisher, then you try to go big for Urban. You know, and I know what people say is like if you watch the Big Noon kickoff or whatever, and you hear Urban Meyer talking, he's like, "At Texas A&M, at a school like that, they have enough resources to where like they have no excuses not to win, all that stuff." And you know that gets the Aggies real tight in the jimmies to hear a coach like that say that stuff, right? I mean, they just But so Traylor was asked at his I guess his press conference about the I guess now there's rumors. There's rumors about rumors regarding my speculation about Jeff Traylor from months ago. And he's saying now that he said that the success he's had, and this is via the Houston Chronicle, he said the success he's had throughout his career in Texas is natural to see his name come up with prospective college openings. He noticed his name has been talked about for possible positions in each of the past 3 seasons. And about what he told his team, he said, quote, "I told them it's a good thing. That means they're winning a lot of ball games for us. As long as they keep winning games, there's going to always be that speculation," Coach Traylor said about the rumors. So,
he said there's been speculation every year except for his first year at UTSA. That's just because they're so good. I watched the clip.
What he's telling, but he didn't say I'm not interested.
No, but Alex, they didn't ask him. He got those answers. He got lofted the biggest softballs ever. Like, oh, this A&M situation, they're firing Jimbo. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, right. But still, I mean, from I didn't see the press conference.
He didn't shut it down. That's for sure.
I did see the Matt Campbell press conference, and we're going to talk about that here in just 1 second, as well as the keys to it's not keys to victory. What is it? It's how to attack Iowa State. We're also going to talk and do you know how you attack Iowa State? Put on your big boy pants and put on the big boy pants. Texas is going to have to do some things that feel unnatural this week, but they have the athletes to do it. They're not going to be able to look. I'm going to get into all that. They got the athletes to do it. It's time to put on the big boy pants. Time to put them on. Just pull them right up. If you guys could please like the show, subscribe to the channel. I went to Specs earlier today.
Ooh, what'd you get?
Because, dude, listen to this. I got a. Can I just go on a brief, completely unaffiliated thing for 1 second?
Of course.
So in 2014, when I was just making this kind of I told you I was a part-time guy at Orange Bloods trying to get Roster Watch up off the air. It was right before Roster Watch got syndicated. We were just a local radio show. We didn't have this product we were selling yet. We were getting ready to launch that in 2015, and I was broke, right? I was broke, having to sell my bases, having to sell my amps, having to the amps that I was sponsored by Ampeg. They had a bunch of 8x10s that I had. I just sold them. And so my car got repossessed, right? But at the time, I remember thinking, dude, how did my car get repossessed? Because I called up the company, and I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get in any legal trouble. Because what I got yesterday was I'll explain why I was out today by Specs. They said that because I called them and I got 3 months behind. And I said, look, can we work something out? I'll pay this month's bill, but then you can just add on a little bit of what I owed from before. You charge me interest. And then after 3 months, I'll be back good to normal. And the agent told me, they're yeah, but I got to send you through to the automated machine to pay it, or else you got to pay a $5 fee. And of course, being broke, I was like, all right, well, I don't want to pay the $5 fee. Send me the automated machine. I sent it. I send the money in, and on the agreed upon amount for the settlement that we had made. But the machine tells me that the account was still not up to balance, all the rest of it. I think I'm fine. A few days later, they show up and my car's repossessed, right? I complain to him. I say, what the hell? I thought we had this figured out. I didn't hear really a thing from them, right? Through the whole process. I got sent a check yesterday for a remediation on this thing for thousands of dollars. And they said, we're sorry. We're giving you all this money for anything that might've affected your credit, all the rest of it and stuff like that. So I was like, what? So I had to take the check and just go cash it to
nice.
them. I was like, thanks.
Nice.
That was cool, y'all. I'm wondering now if I should ask them for more, if they're just sending me this stuff willingly.
They found something that was oh man, we actually
anyway. So I was out doing, and at least now I have proof now that if anybody asks me why do you have this repossession of a vehicle on your thing, I'll show them this letter saying they were wrong. But regardless, I was out there. So I didn't really need anything, but my bank is right by Specs. Specs is so fun to go into. I just went in there and just go did a little shopping. I had some extra money burning a hole in my pocket from the check that came in the mail. Went in there, got more of those electric jellyfishes from Pine House. Picked up a celebratory bottle of Casamigos, man. And I'll just tell you what, it's just so good to see everybody there at Specs, Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. Just take it from me. It's a place where I didn't even really need anything. I just wanted to go in and see him because I was driving by. I would encourage you guys to go ahead and do the go ahead and do the same thing there. What do we have here?
We got a pup from Oscar Elizondo.
Oh my gosh! Look at that. What is that? An English setter? What is that?
Hold on. I think he said earlier in the chat what breed it is.
A pointer, maybe a pointer, a German pointer.
Yeah, it's a pointer. Yeah.
It's a good looking dog, man.
Great.
Yeah, you could tell he just loves that ball. He just loves that ball. Oh boy, that good boy loves the ball. Oh gosh, he's a good boy. That's
a girl. I think it might be a girl with the pink.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah. But still, it's a good dog. She likes that ball. She loves that ball. Oh man, that's beautiful. All right,
cool
thank
dog,
you, Oscar Elizondo. Great stuff. We just God, I love the chat. Okay, hold on. Jay Ward's talking about dough are definitely hot right now. What? Hold on. Is this a conversation going on here? My gosh, Jay Ward. So he's got a rutcation starting tomorrow. You guys need to go, man. You guys need to let me know if you guys get anything on these. All right. Let's see. Matt Campbell press conference or the keys to not keys to how to attack. Maybe we'll just talk
attacking Iowa State.
The keys to how to attack Iowa State.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just talk about that first. Just the things I saw on film whenever you look at them. Okay. And then we'll talk about what Matt Campbell said at his press conference. Okay. So Iowa State, they're very good in coverage. Sound, play with good leverage. They have this dude number 2, TJ Tampa, who is real trouble. He plays corner. He moves inside the star sometimes. You saw him last week. whenever they're playing versus BYU. They have that BYU's got that tight end that's not really that good, but they try and get the ball to him sometimes. They would have him move inside and cover that guy. He could run with him on, he's the type of corner that's long enough to play against like good tight ends, right?
He was second team All Big 12 last year.
TJ Tampa is good. He's good. And that whole defense, and like what worries me most about these guys is TJ Tampa and the kid that they're getting back who's missed the last 2 weeks. Forget his name, but he talked about him. Jeremiah Cooper, the safety. He's trending towards playing. He's missed the last 2 games. Like I went just looking, I had to look at Cockamamie PFF just to see what they thought, because it was like the questions just kept on coming in about the safety, about Coop, and the Coop is coming back, and Coop this and Coop that, and you're like, so apparently what happened, and I agree, Oscar Elizondo, we should all send in dog picks. I would love that. Probably a line of 4 different questions. And what happened with Jeremiah Cooper is he missed. So he's only a true sophomore, right? But he played last year, was super good. He was able to get through the season, and with the team being so young, that's something else we'll get into. Is Matt Campbell just talk like this is a young Iowa State team. Mm-hmm. They've lost, this is not a team full of the tight ends like the Charlie Kohler, I forget the other one from last year. And there's certainly no Breece Hall. There's no Will McDonald. There's no Xavier Hutchinson. They have some guys to worry about, sort of like them. But with Cooper coming back and with TJ Tampa back there, I would have been, dude, like I would have been as nervous as humanly possible about Malik Murphy having to play in this football game. Their coverages are tight. They disguise things really well. They show things pre-snap that aren't necessarily how things are going to unfold post-snap. And it's, even though they're young guys, they say a guy like Cooper, getting him back is just so big because he's played so much. The way that he can communicate, the way that he interacts with TJ, those are big things for their defensive back end. So here's what you do. You put on the big boy pants, and I know it's not going to be comfortable because this is the week where you would think you'd like Quinn just to lean on Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell and Jordan Whittington and sort of have that be your life vest in this first game without Jonathan Brooks, right? Just look, we got 2 NFL ballers on the outsides here. Let's lean on these guys. Let's give Quinn nice, easy throws, all of it. Well, I'm going to tell you, they're going to give him throws that look nice and easy, and they could rob him. Cooper's played in 8 games. He has 5 picks. He's very deceptive where he lines up. He's I don't know what they call that third safety position that he plays, but it's the most important one in any of these cockamamie 3-3-5 deals. He's an all around, just robber, rover, whatever you want to call it within your defense, just an all around player. He's like their Jahdae Barron, and he's a sophomore, and he's good, and he's been a little bit more disruptive as far as just breaking up passes and getting home on these picks. So I think what you got to do is you got to man up, and you just have to run the football down their throats, run it up C-gap, make sure to they're only going to have a 3-man front. This defense, these linebackers, you guys just got to listen to me. These linebackers are kind of small. They don't move well. They don't have very much twitch. If they come downhill, even if you get, it's a 6-man box, right? If they're just in their normal alignment, right? You're going to have somebody on the 4 techniques. You're going to have linebackers directly behind them. You're going to have a 0 technique. You'll have a linebacker directly behind them, right? It's super easy to run inside. I actually could draw something up during the break and just show you how easy it is to run inside zone against this thing, especially if it's a split zone where you can bring JT Sanders back across the formation to take out either the will linebacker who it just depends on the game that they play. If they're slanting the D end strong over towards him, then you would have the tackle take the D end, because the tackle would have responsibility for not responsibility for B gap, but That's the way that he would sort of think about it. If this DN comes B gap, this is say an inside zone left, right? I'm gonna have to get him at a drive angle, kind of at B gap, and then 45 degrees, hopefully to put him on his butt, right? And then you would have the C gap linebacker would be the one that the C gap backside linebacker would be the one that goes unblocked or whatever. But even if you want to set it up where you could block that guy because you're worried he might just come down the line and follow the zone play, you could just do a split zone with JT Sanders, just have JT just kind of get in his way. And you have that thing blocked up front, and we've drawn it up. Why it makes so much sense just to attack C gap against these 3-3-5 schemes, but they need to do it because this defensive front stinks. They stink, and if this offensive line can't get it done, I don't care if it's CJ Baxter. I don't care if it's Jaden Blue. I don't care if it's Savion Red or Keelan. Well, gosh, I hope it's not Keelan.
That's what I was going to ask next. Given your game plan, how would you split those carries?
I think CJ Baxter needs like 20 carries here.
Yep.
I think
so you go 20 for Baxter, 8 for Blue,
8 to 10 for Blue, and then just your normal couple snaps for Keelan, couple snaps for Savion Red.
Just not in that damn package.
It's not again. But that's the thing. It's like once you do that, then they're gonna have to just bring one of those safeties down, right? And then at that point, things open up to where now it's like all of a sudden you're just in a too high look, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to process. Not as many ways that they can rob you and fool you and disguise these things on you. And I really think that Malik Murphy, if he would have been in this spot, I would have been super nervous. I think that they would show him things that he thinks are just, oh God, look, boom, look, and then just next thing you know, it's just the other way. With Quinn, I'm not sure it's going to be like that. I hope this game plan is just to dominate their front, because here's the thing: Texas has the athletes to do it. CJ Baxter is he running behind that offensive. I mean, dude, this is Kelvin Banks. This is Hayden Connor. I mean, Majors has been better this year. This is DJ Campbell and Christian Jones, and these dudes can move bodies. These are athletes. These are NFL guys, right? These are 3 out of those 5 are playing in the NFL. 2 of them might. But 3 out of those 5 are playing in the NFL. And Matt Campbell says they got NFL players everywhere. It's a veteran offensive line. They're uber talented. It's going to take everything we got, but it's senior night. Like, we're going to go out and do it, right? We're going to go out and we're going to try and win the football game, of course. It's going to be a big challenge for us. It's a great opportunity. And here's the thing: if you're Texas, don't let them take advantage of the opportunity. It's a prototypical, picturesque, exactly perfect way to go on. We got an email from Catch about some shows. It's just to completely go on the offense and just it's the old pee on the rug moment. Walk in, they're eating popcorn. They're trying to watch America's Got Talent. They're having a good old fashioned night on senior night. You walk in there, you knock the door open, you pee on the rug, you go get all the most delicious snacks, you eat them in front of them with eye contact, right? Eat the snacks. They know that those are your snacks. That those are their own snacks that you're eating, and you're doing it right in front of them, and you're knocking over the shades, and you're breaking in the liquor cabinet, and you're pouring shots, and you're saying, "This is my house now." Light up a cigar, stink the place, do whatever you want. You're the bigger athlete. And I think that this offensive line is capable of doing it against this puny little they line these 3 guys up just like they're able to stop it. They can't stop the Texas offensive line. They can't stop the run game. The most important thing, working man is no, Sandman. You don't ask to use the pool. You say I'm going out to the pool, and after I'm done, after I'm done, for good measure, I'm going to drain it. Working man says, steal their little play air. Exactly. You steal their play airplanes. Yep. You knock the kids' toys over. It's a pee on the rug moment. Okay. And go to the C gaps. Go to the C gaps with the offensive line. Put on the big boy pants and just go do it. And let that open up what you're going to do with the passing. Because as far as coverage, I'd like to see, where does Pete Cockamamie PFF even have these guys ranked as far as coverage? Let's see. I had the PFF stuff pulled up earlier because I was looking at to see where they had what's his name ranked, Cooper, that's coming back this week. If I don't have it pulled up, maybe I'll just pull it up during the next break and let everybody know then. Do I have a PFF? Hold on. Just give me 1 sec. No. All right. It's bad rating. Oh, here's something. Okay. So Iowa State. So Jeremiah Cooper. Oh, okay. But that's just for the team. I'd have to go back and look for the whole, as far as, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to do that right. I'm going to go look and see what Cogmate PFF says about Iowa State's coverage as a entire team. I'll bet you it's pretty high. If it's not, who knows? I'm still right because PFF is cockamamie. We're going to do that next.
I think this is the other thing too for Quinn is, and it's going to be interesting. It's not something, it just came out a couple days ago, but I'll be very curious how the bowl games, not the bowl games, the All-Star games, how they look at Quinn. Will they give him an opportunity to come to the Senior Bowl? Will he get an opportunity to go to the East-West Shrine game? Will he take that? Will he want that? Because to me, that can be kind of the final stamp, the final nail in the coffin to say, yeah, this guy's ready. When the NFL decision makers, and I'm not saying scouts aren't, but when the decision makers, the director of college scouting, the GMs can sit down with these guys and look them in the eye and say, okay, let's talk for 15 minutes. Let me get a feel for you before we go to the combine. Let me watch you in practice all week, with this high, mixed all-star group, high-level talent sort of thing. That could be something that really helps Quinn as well and helps some of the underclassmen. The thing is, there's so many quarterbacks in this class. It's going to be tough to pick which ones will go to the Senior Bowl, which ones go to the East-West Shrine game. And maybe Quinn doesn't need to do that. Maybe he finishes up these next few games and just rocks it, beats Oklahoma or Kansas or whomever in the Big 12 championship game, and then gets into the playoffs somehow and then rocks it then. And all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, maybe he doesn't need that. Maybe he doesn't need, because he's shown it all, maybe he doesn't need to go do it for another week. Maybe his status and his stock is rising that fast through that whole process. And look, we saw what happened with CJ. There were a lot of people that were down on CJ. And then he has that game against Georgia, and it was like, oh, no. I love that guy now. Well, yeah, you love him now. But what did you think about him, months ago? You weren't saying that months ago. You suckers had him going number 11 in your mock draft in November. So if Quinn does all that and really hits a hot streak, maybe he doesn't need that all-star game or that opportunity. And I'd be curious if he'd want it. But now it's actually available to guys. And I think that's going to be really interesting for those all-star games. And I'll be interested if that's the rule, whether next year, which doesn't help Quinn, but is going to help some players at Texas, A&M, et cetera. If they add another all-star game back, they had taken one away because – and I don't know why, maybe just funding, whatever it might be. But if you have underclassmen that can play in these all-star games, you might be able to fund another all-star game to give these guys an opportunity to showcase to do it again. So I'll be curious if that's something that's afforded to Quinn. And if I were him, I would take them up on it all day, every day, because you get that out of me, I can be the face of your franchise. And that's what Quinn Ewers is going to need. So yeah, I think these 3 games, Chad, are going to be pretty important. But I think there's so much in addition to it to just add to his novel. And the longer that he makes his novel, I think the better for him, because I think the end of the novel is going to tell a different story than what the beginning of the novel told.
Oh boy, are we having some fun or what here on Football with Friends? I'm so happy to be here with everybody here in the chat. It's like Travis Acton said. What you got to do? Pour all the liquor in the kiddie pool and become the liquor Smurf. That's perfect. You need to be the liquor Smurf. This is a liquor Smurf game, a pee on the rug liquor Smurf kind of game, right? Like Oscar Elizondo saying, eat their cheesecake, all the rest of it, right? All the rest of it, cheesecake, delicious snacks. I think the eye contact is important as you're eating the delicious snacks, right? As you're eating them, you
pee on the rug, Alex. Pee on the rug.
Look them in the eye as you're doing all of it. All right, so I did look
real quick. We got some dog picks. You asked for it.
Wow, great.
Richard Arias sent this one in.
Who sent this in?
Richard
Arias. All right, so we got a some kind of, is that a bull mastiff? That's a mastiff.
He says the little one is a monster.
Yeah. What is that? Is that a Ridgeback or is that a mastiff? I can't really tell from here. Or is it just, I can't really tell.
Maybe a mix. He's cute though.
Yeah, it's a couple good looking dogs. I guarantee you, I know which one. I guarantee you, I know which one runs the house around there.
Oh, no doubt.
You know,
no doubt.
You know which one runs the show. Yeah. Okay.
And of course, we got Jay Ward too.
Jay Ward. We've seen. I think is Jay Ward seen his pups before? I think he's sent him. That's a good. That's like a good looking shepherd. I think.
Good
right.
To see him again.
Yeah, man. Jay Ward. Oh man, the dog pics are great. I'd love to see that one. Czechoslovakian shepherds imported.
Oh, Czechoslovakian.
Jay Ward doesn't need to. Jay Ward doesn't need to win all this money on prize picks. He's rich. He's a PI now. He's getting all this stuff sent in from Czechoslovakia. All right. So, but dude, I was checking it out. So out of 100 and now PFF is cockamamie, and I don't trust these idiotic grades, but it goes to show at least what my eyes have seen. Hold on. Where even are they? God. Okay. So where do you think PFF has them in coverage grades out of 133 teams?
Oh gosh, in coverage grades.
And I'll tell you that they have Texas at 75.
I don't know. Middle of the pack. Where do they have?
9.
Oh.
So they're good in coverage. They like to me. And
I was thinking 30s or 40s.
I know what PFF is like. I can tell what they're seeing. I don't know exactly what they see. Like maybe coverage is one thing where PFF I could even maybe trust them a little bit because it's something where it's like it's not like that was always stuff that these dudes back here did. I've tried as I've grown up to learn more and more about it. Probably no more than the average dude, but I can just tell whenever I'm looking at them, I'm like, dude, these guys play with good leverage. They disguise stuff. They make it seem they make things seem open when they're truly not. You know, they're really they can fool you defense, which is interesting coming from a defense that all anybody talks about is how young the group is, right? Just a young team. This is a young team. So attack C gaps with inside zone. It's a pee on the rug, liquor smurf type of game, right? Let's see here. The offensive weapon you need to worry most about is this dude Jalen Noel, and it's spelled kind of like Noel. It's spelled like that, but he's number 13. Okay, he's not Xavier Hutchinson. He's not. He doesn't worry like a Breece Hall, David Montgomery. He's not that type of player. He just doesn't worry you like a Charlie Kohler did. He's more like he plays like a little guy, but he's listed at 200 pounds. He's fast. He's jitterbuggy. He finds open spots in the zone. He's good, right? He's a good player, and he lines up a lot in the slot. And Jahdae Barron or Jalen Gilbo is going to need to do a good job on him. I have faith in both those guys to do a fine job, but they're going to have a challenge. Some of these guys aren't going to have very big challenges. I don't think that there's going to be many guys that just really challenge the overall athlete level of Texas, especially given the fact that these guys are young, right? Especially because these guys, man, if you listen to what Matt Campbell says about the running game, did you know in the first 4 games of the season that a running back didn't even score a touchdown for Iowa State? And whenever he talks about these guys, he's like, oh, we got J-Mo, it's coming along, and of course Bodie or Obi and this and this. It's like it's like he's talking about the running backs and how this guy's looking better, this guy's looking better, and this guy's, and it's like clowns that keep just walking out of the back of the trunk. You're like, when is he gonna quit talking? Like, how many of these guys is he playing right now? And you can tell in the games, just rotations, they're just trying to figure out who their guy is. And I mean, I guess it's good to have depth, but it's also good if you're the opposition. Hey, man, they don't even know who their guy is. They just run guys in and out, see who can get a hot hand. Like, what the? I don't know. They're all freshmen, Let's see. So there's that. I think that
real quick, you want to knock out a super chat. Central Texas Aviator, late to the convo, but Southwest has outdated computer software that cause a lot of booking issues. I fly for American. Love them as a company.
So I guess he truly is an aviator. We finally gotten it out of the man. Thank you so much. And definitely Rich. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat there, Central Texas Aviator.
Appreciate it.
Southwest was my initial lock. I thought it was going to be unpopular, but apparently
no, I think you're right. No, I would
apparently agree. the chat kind of agrees. And this is coming from somebody, like I said, I mean, for like even over the last 5 years, I've had a Southwest Airlines credit card. I've been trying to get mine. I fly Southwest, but not anymore. Like I've moved to a different rewards card. Major Alexander super chat $4.99. Yo, they need to run the diamond and light it up. There you go, Major Alexander. It actually might not be that bad an idea. I mean, at least a two back set against a 3-3-5 is actually good, right? But as long as you're hitting up those C gaps, because with that two back set, if you do have that extra linebacker, if you flex a guy, if you go to a two back set with just that's unbalanced, right? With just two guys over to the left, say, you're gonna have to move that linebacker out a little bit to handle the hook and the curl route right there in that area. And so even if that slot wide receiver can't get to him, you have an extra running back that can get out there and still open up that alley C gap. So that, like, I actually think that I mean, I know he's kidding, but I think something like that's kind of smart. But yeah, so number 13, I would worry about him. Anytime you get one of these guys that just pops off, and I know it's just BYU, but he's the kind of player that can make you worry. And the last thing that you want to be doing when you're having to go into Ames, Iowa, is to be worried about these things. And clearly the last thing that you want to do if you're selling a home is to be worried about what could happen. Gosh, it's just so much you have to think about. And when you have Val Garcia working for you, if you're in the DFW area, Val Garcia is going to sell your house for free. I mean, free. If you work in education or you work in the ministries, he will sell your house for free. He's a great friend of the show. He's our original sponsor here on the show, Val Garcia at Valen Realty. And if you tell him that you heard about him on Football with Friends, him and the great people there at Valen Realty, they're going to sell your house for half price. No one's out. Do you realize that, like, literally nobody does that? No one does that. He's giving you a gift. Like, Val, look at Val, dude. Just look at him. He's smiling like a man that's going to give you the gift of the gift that everybody loves. Free money. 10K, 15K, 20K is how much he's going to be saving you here. That's money that you can take and you put it in savings. With the interest rates up right now, you could take the 15K that Val Garcia sells you, go open up an account at one of these places that's giving you like a 5% interest rate right now. Do you know the money that you can make off that, just having it just sit around for you? Like, Val Garcia wants to do that for you. You could go buy I'm having to change the tire on my side-by-side this week because I wrecked it out there in Junction last week. My tire's shredded up, right? I'd like to just be able to go buy a whole new side-by-side. I can do it if I work with Val Garcia. Just tell him you heard about him on Football with Friends. He's going to save you half the money that you would normally pay on his commission. And if you work in education or in the ministries, anywhere in DFW, anywhere, he's going to sell your house for free. So if you know anybody in DFW, that's the most important thing. If you just know anybody who's looking to sell, anybody's thinking about selling, just have him call Val. Let him talk to Val, man. He's an awesome dude. I love the guy. Again, he's Val Garcia at valenrealty.com. You can also email him, valgarcia at valenrealty.com, or call him at 469-647-8729. Valen Realty. All right. So you don't worry about selling a home. You don't want to worry about it. You don't want to worry about number 13. So Jade Barron needs to lock that guy up. They are a true 50-50 zone man team from at least from the BYU game, right? It was I charted it down. It's like a true 50-50. So whenever they get into their man concepts as far as their run game, I got a little secret to tell the defensive line. Whenever these guards pull, just chase after them. Just follow them. They whenever they get into this man stuff, they get these wide splits, and they will run simple pin pull sort of concepts, right? That we talk about all the time. Whenever they do that stuff, these running backs that they have are still young. They are not instinctive. They are not going to know what to do if what happens when their guards pull is that somebody gets up in their backside armpit, follows them, runs behind them, shoves them upfield, completely screws everything up. Like you could even see the BYU guys do it, right? What's the BYU guy, the big Tongan guy, number 90? Whenever he would just get a chance just to follow these guys and just get on their tails and just push them upfield, right? If Texas can have one or two guys doing that every time, these running backs are deer in the headlights. You can completely neutralize the run game literally with one guy that's just going to screw this thing up. But when they pull, you have to follow them. Just follow them. Just the splits that they're going to have are going to be wide enough whenever they run these man concepts, and the space they create. They don't take these guys, and I don't know if they're coached to do it. They might be coached to kind of come farther back, and then that way they can have a better angle, sort of coming downhill with their pull blocks, as opposed to just taking a step right here and going straight down the line of scrimmage the way most people are taught to do it. They come out, they take a few steps back and do all you follow them, dude. Just because that's unless it's a reverse, they're running where the running back's going. That's where they're running. So if they're going to give you the opportunity to be able to do that, dude, follow them. Just follow them. It's a simple strategy, but it's something that you're taught to do as a 3 technique or as a 1 technique with pulling guards ever since you're a little kid, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to try and pin you down with the center, and just don't allow. If you're Tavondre Sweat, you don't have to allow him to do it. You can what, eschew? Is that even? You can just eschew him this way and follow him down the line of scrimmage. Get your hand on his backside armpit. Get him to where his back is facing the runner. This is something that Texas can out athlete these people to do along the trenches. Completely ruins it. Trust me. It's gonna ruin the run game. They don't have much talent in the run game. They don't have much talent along the offensive line. How to attack. Finally, Iowa State's not that good. Okay, they're not a great football team. They're a great coverage team. They have some things that can worry me. They are 24 of 24 scoring points when they get into the red zone, and that's a little bit scary for Texas, right? There are things about the team that worry me: the coverage, the red zone efficiency, the fact that they have a kicker that Matt Campbell just, he'll put his life on the line to his faith in this guy seems to know no bounds. But man, I think BYU stinks. I think they just stink out loud. I think some of these teams they've lost to, some of these teams they played so close just stink. I think a lot of the Big 12 stinks. I think that talk about a kiddie pool, a play pool. It's like, man,
I think Houston and TCU stink, but those games are pretty damn close. So I ain't overlooking anybody, especially at night in Ames.
For BYU in the BYU game, did you know how they got their how they started this game? Is BYU handed, so they kicked it off. BYU fumbles the kickoff. Iowa State gets it like on the 10-yard line, gets a quick touchdown. They kick it off again. BYU fumbles again, and they get the ball back, and they get a field goal.
BYU's so bad.
They get 10 points like right there off that. That's like the margin of victory, right? Cody's saying something here. He's saying, I don't know if it's the best time for the game to get a new style developed as far as the focal point of JB to now shifting focus to more pass. No, don't do it. Don't do that is what I'm saying, Cody.
Keep running the ball.
Run the ball. They got to. They got to. It's a good coverage team. And Cody, I want you in this game. We're going to talk about them, but if you get a chance to watch that defense, just tell me what you think of them, about the coverage guys, and watch number 2, TJ Tampa, and tell me what you think of that guy. He plays with really good leverage, and he's going to be a lot of trouble. That's the other thing. Just if you're going to attack him, avoid that guy, right? Just avoid that guy. Don't even mess with him. He doesn't seem like he travels too much, but he will move from the left corner to like the inside sort of slot kind of corner type of player if they shift over and have to make adjustments. I would simply try to avoid TJ Tampa. He's a good player. They need to dominate. They need to dominate in the trenches in this game, right? When those guards pull and those stopping inside zone against these guys is just going to come naturally. They're going to get their run fits. They're going to take on the double teams. The linebackers are going to scrape over, and they're going to be fine. All right, inside zone is going to be fine. I'm telling you, versus man, it creates a little bit of space. It creates a little bit of chaos. The linebackers will get a little bit frozen because they'll have motion coming this way, and they'll have two linemen going this way, and all the rest of it. I'm telling you, just have the defensive linemen defeat the pin block, which should be easy enough. These guys aren't very good athletes. Defeat the pin block and just chase them down. Just be right on the heels of the pulling blocker, and if you can, get his back turned via getting your hand on his backside armpit and pushing it upfield. And if you can do that, and you can get it, and you get his shoulders turned like this, then you're gonna be able to steer him right. You can use him as a human shield just to ram into the running back. That's what they can do to these guys because they're giving them too much space. You give athletes like Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy that much space, they're going to engage you and they're going to hurt you bad. But you got to follow them down. They take terrible angles with their pulls. They pull out of their pull blocks. They stand up straight in the air. You just follow them. So that's how you attack them. And I'm going to watch more and more this week over the course of the week as we kind of get into the game. And of course, we'll have our final takes on Friday. Cody Carpentier will be joining, but it's exactly what Cody's saying right now. Just go to like Baxter Blue 20. Look, CJ Baxter should be able to. This should be his coming out party. That's a 5-star guy. He's now fully healthy. There's no more foot problem. He won the starting job over Jonathan Brooks in this fall football period. It appears to me that certainly the Achilles heel of this whole Iowa State defense is supposed to be good as their rush defense. What does Cockamamie PFF say about that? Just curious. They I agree with what they said about the coverage. What do they have the run defense ranked?
Yeah, and the coverage, as you said, was 9th in the country according to PFF.
Okay, so their run defense, they have them ranked, but it's Cockamamie PFF. They have them ranked as 41st, tied for 41st with Illinois, but behind my guy Jeff Traylor at UTSA.
Oh, there you go.
Behind Tulane, Eastern Michigan, Jacksonville State, Oregon, East Carolina, Georgia. Who comes up with these lists? These idiots. Look, you can, if you're Texas, you can run on them. Period. Give Baxter 20 carries. Give Blue 8 carries and 4 targets. You know, get Red in there.
I'd like to see more creative ways to use Savion Red other than the stupid Wildcat. Like, do something else.
Run. Maybe just let him run. It's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What did Matt Campbell say today at his press conference?
Real quick. Blake Winfrey had this question earlier. I thought it was interesting. Big 12 or ACC? Who is the worst conference?
Yeah, can we go through the ACC teams?
I think the ACC is a better conference right now. This season.
List of ACC teams. Because I know who the main ones are, but there's always some there's like, oh wait.
Let's start with undefeated Florida State. Okay. Louisville.
Okay.
Louisville's 9-1. North Carolina 8-2. NC State 7-3. They're okay. Virginia Tech, they're okay. Georgia Tech, they're okay. Duke's an all right team.
No,
Boston College, Clemson, Miami, Syracuse, Virginia, Pitt, Wake Forest.
Yeah,
it's not too dissimilar to the Big 12.
I hate the Big 12, and I kind of hate the group of teams too.
Well, they're both bad. So the question is, who's the worst?
This year, I think Big 12 is worst. It's too top heavy.
I think too.
It's too top heavy, you know.
Yeah. Same with the ACC, as Money B is saying. They're both bad.
Money B saying they're too top. I mean, this.
By the way,
I get tired of trying to figure out who's even good in this stupid conference. I see Tech. I think they stink, and then they, I don't even know. Like at this point, I've forgotten who's beating who. Like which teams beat what? Which teams are bad enough to lose?
They've
to
all
BYU?
beaten each other. There's a whole bunch of two-loss
teams are bad enough to lose to Tech. Which teams are bad enough to lose to? You know what I mean?
Let me see if I can find. I saw a tweet earlier today, Alex, that said there is still a scenario where the Big 12 ends in like an 8-way tie.
Is there a scenario? I can't believe that I don't know this. If Texas has another loss, does that mean that they're out of the Big 12 hunt?
If they lose to Iowa State, they're in trouble.
Yeah,
because Iowa State beat Oklahoma State, so they'd have the tiebreaker over them. Oklahoma has the tiebreaker over Texas. I don't know. It gets complicated when there's a bunch of teams. But this from Max Olson this morning. He was just messing around with the tiebreaker calculators. And there is a scenario where 8 teams tie for first place in the Big 12.
How?
Just the fact that exists. And basically, all the home teams win this week. And then next week, Oklahoma beats TCU, Texas Tech beats Texas, West Virginia beats Baylor, UCF over Houston, Kansas over Cincinnati, K-State over Iowa State, OSU beats BYU. And then everyone has 3 losses at the top 8 teams in the conference.
But Texas would have to lose out.
Correct. It's a cockamamie thing. It's just funny that we're 2 games away from the end of the season, and there's a potential scenario where there's an 8-way tie.
That is crazy, man. That's crazy. It goes to show you. I don't know what to. I mean, ACC. I don't follow ACC close enough. It's like Texas is about to be in the SEC, and so like if whenever I watch these games, I watch Big 12 games or I usually watch SEC games. If it's at nighttime, of course, I'll watch some of these big games with some of the Pac schools or whatever out there, but. It just doesn't seem to. I don't watch a bunch of like North Carolina, Duke, and stuff. I will
say I've had more interest this year in the Pac-12 than I thought I would. I was ready to just completely disregard everything going on over there. They have good, interesting teams and games, and I'm gonna be rooting for Oregon State these next 2 weeks because that would help Texas a lot. They're gonna play Oregon and Washington.
Oh man, I hope Oregon State gets hot.
That's what every Texas fan needs. Oregon State is the key.
Yeah, man. All right. All right. So we've talked about how to attack Iowa State, and it means pull up the big boy pants, right? Pull up the big boy pants. It's like Cody Carpentier says, nothing cockamamie, nothing new. I know that it's going to feel nice and easy just to say, look, we got these outside wide receivers that are so sick. Quinn is getting better and better. I feel most comfortable with them. It's a freshman running back. No, none of that. It's nonsense. Stop it. None of it. Nothing. None of it. None. I want you to run the football. I want you to dominate C gaps. I want you to run unbalanced sets. I want you to exploit the seams whenever TJ Tampa doesn't come down into the seam, right? And then that's that. Have it be a big JT Sanders game. Have it be a big CJ Baxter game. Have it be the Jaden Blue breakout game. I don't think this needs to be something where you try and force feed Xavier Worthy, or I kind of think Adonai Mitchell is the one that might be more dangerous because at least Xavier Worthy can get behind these guys. I don't see them as being particularly fast, as I see them as being technical and playing with good leverage. And that's the kind of thing guys playing with bad leverage is what Adonai can exploit so well at the stem of his routes, right? That's kind of how he wins. So I certainly don't think it should be a big Adonai Mitchell game unless you're down in the red zone or something like that. We have a super chat here.
A super chat.
Thank you for that, brother. We certainly appreciate it. Again, if you guys have a question, you can always feel free to ask. If you want to send super chats, that's awesome too. So thank you for that. Also, if you could like the show and subscribe to the channel, we'd appreciate that. There's a little like button right underneath here. You just click the like. It's a thumbs up. I think it's a thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Click on that. It's free. To subscribe is free. And all it means is that whenever we make new videos here on the channel, they'll just pop up on your YouTube home screen more frequently. That's all it means. So it certainly helps us if you could do that. We certainly appreciate it. Again, my email is alex@rosterwatch.com. Questions, comments, anything like that about the show, you can email me, alex@rosterwatch.com. All right. So outside of just looking at rushing stats, generally, how was our run blocking versus TCU. Inside runs seemed poor. Jamoy Hodge seemed to make every play. Well, he didn't make every play. But do you know what? There's not going to be anybody in the world that has a better answer than me about this tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow is when I'll be done with the offensive part of the deep dig. So I haven't, I'll watch every, I'll get started right after the show tonight. What a fun existence. It truly actually is. It's like people think I'm kidding. It's fun. I get to talk football, watch football. It's like it's great. But I'll start tonight. I'll work through that till it's dinner time. I'll get back to it a little later, and then tomorrow all day I'll be doing the offensive line. So I'll have the best answer for you then tomorrow, man. If I can just take a rain check on that, on giving you the super breakdown of that, we'll get to it tomorrow. Major Alexander with another super. Oh, so he's serious about the diamond. See, I think Major Alexander is smart. He didn't get so rich by being. Oh, speaking of rich, man, I haven't seen Ted Appear lately. So is he already down in Argentina shooting birds and stuff? I think he said he was leaving last week.
I think I saw him cracking jokes on House Divided earlier.
Okay, that guy's rich.
He might be doing it from down there though.
Okay. So if they run the diamond, they can use all three backs to protect QE and possess the ball and control the clock. Dude, I think it's fine. And you can go online. You can go on you can just go on YouTube, and there's this funny coach, man, this funny OBC, man, this old ball coach who has this way that he likes to attack the 3-3-5. And I've watched it over the years. He calls it the monster. You can just search on YouTube monster. Let me just see if that'll even come up. Monster versus 3-3-5. Let me just check it. I'm going to see what I want to see what gets us there, because it's not necessarily a diamond, but it's a totally kind of overloaded inside inside run sort of thing that he does at the high school level. And it's see, maybe that's not I'll find the link and we'll put it in chat, but it's kind of funny. It looks a little bit similar to the diamond, and he says at the high school level it just works every single time. Look, one of the things that everybody loves every single time is to hear from the coach speak whisperer. Right? We've talked all about what Iowa State brings as far as how we attack them. Now let's talk about what the coach had to say. Oh gosh, and how he threw his quarterback under the bus about not being athletic at all. We're gonna get to all that next.
Now we're at a point where you can very easily see Texas having to punt this football in a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. This defense might be asked to literally make an ultimate stop.
I think now you're definitely going to see Texas they're not going to do anything to risk turning this ball over. So I think you're talking about a run play here. We're in really dangerous territory in this game.
No doubt.
Yep, they're running the football. It's more CJ, and he would not almost nothing there.
Have they really been outscored 20-3 over this section of the game? Like that's just, it's crazy.
But it's almost a reversal from the first half, because TCU has almost 300 yards of offense and Texas has less than 100.
Man, Sonny Dykes has the look of a guy right now that won money in Vegas that he just found $100 and went to the roulette table and won.
What if they get that 2-point conversion or a pass interference or a hold when they tried to go for 2? Or he just kicks the extra point and he's down by 2 and he can win the game with a field goal. There's 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the game. And this thing is just gone into the world of absurdity.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to say it. And after all the stuff we've seen today, we've seen a couple teams had to get out of some crazy. Washington and Florida State had to get out of some crazy. They wasn't quite this crazy, though. 0 for 4 for Texas in the second half on third down. This is 3rd and 12.
I think Sark's going to throw it here.
I think you got to be real careful on third.
It's all gas, no brakes, Steve Sarkisian. But this is TCU's playing this like they think it's going to be pass.
Yeah.
They got 5 in the box.
Oh, taking a shot. Wow.
Oh, and he catches it.
Adonai Mitchell.
And that's a ball game right there.
Man.
He's only going to be able to stop the ball one time. Wow. Talk about all gas. Oh, my God. Mitchell just run past. That's horrible cornerback play. But what a catch and adjustment that Mitchell plays. And how dangerous was that? Now the ball's at the TCU 46 or 48. I'm stunned by the absurdity of that play call.
Wow. That is such a gutsy play.
Okay. All right. Football with friends. Always fun as can be here on the Orange Bloods YouTube. So happy to have everybody here with us. Everybody in the chat. Jay Ward. What Jay Ward saying? They need to bring Costanza on the show. Richard Arias saying Chad wanted Texas to lose. My goodness. Okay. And then I wanted to. So somebody came in a question. Orlando Garcia saying Ewers back for one more year. As per, like, see, that's the funny thing that I don't understand is that how people can get away with making those reports when they're just. I mean, we talked about this earlier. That decision still hasn't been made, and some people can say that it's a 90% chance, and then if he doesn't come back, they can say, well, we just said it was 90%, and for some reason there's certain people in this, basically anybody except the Orange Bloods, who makes these reports. And nobody cares. If the minute Orange Bloods get something wrong, everything is just it's all over social media. Is what Jay Ward's saying. Oh, so I mean, it's good. Look, I think it would be good for Texas if you come back. Yeah, I think Jay Ward's just messing with me now. They're saying it's 100% confirmed. That can't be true. But if that is true, you guys let me know the post because I'd be interested in seeing it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
but Catch reported Sunday that was the conversation going on within the Quinn
hyenas, just globbing on and saying, 90% chance. What is the photo that you got here? Looks like a really good boy.
From Blake May.
Oh, so go. I can't tell if it's a boy or a girl, but it looks like a good one. Whatever. Yeah. That is a happy dog too. Look at him, just a good that's a dog on a sunny day with in the back of the side by side waving the American flag out there on the ranch. He's just gotten out of some kind of mud puddle or pond. Man, he's having a day. Oh gosh, that is so good, man. That is so good. Okay, at catch the wave 5. Just checking the show. All right, catch the wave X, man. We certainly appreciate you, brother. We can't thank you enough for letting us know and coming and checking in. Okay. All right, we got guys saying that their sources are saying that the Quinn's 90
joined the seminary.
90%. He's 90% to become a Benedictine monk. Okay, where can I find my notes from Matt Campbell? Look at this though. As long as I have it pulled up, let's talk about the betting insights, Blake. So
let's do that. I was actually just looking at the line a minute ago, sitting at 7.5.
Yeah, but this one's interesting because Iowa State will be easier to search than Texas because there's too many cockamamie other Texas teams. Okay, Iowa State Cyclones. So it's ISU plus 7.5. And guess what we have here? We have a positive betting trend for once for Texas to start the week.
Ooh.
So it's only 69% of the tickets right now are on Iowa State plus 7.5, but 66% of the money is on Texas minus 7.5. So we finally don't have the little small fish, the tiny little barking hyenas of the sports betting world, right? Kind of like the barking little hyenas of this Texas media here. The ones, the little tiny little fish, the tiny little baby little fish. The ones that just come in and bet like $10, $5, all this stuff. They take up 90% of the bets and all this, right? Now
we're still doing that, but the big money is also coming in on
only 33% of the bettors are on Texas, but 2/3 of the money is on Texas. So the people betting on Texas are big bettors, big betting groups, all the rest of it. If anything, I would say that that's at least encouraging. But let's make sure and follow that, Blake. Let's see if that
you
trend.
said 67% bets ISU, 66% money Texas, right?
That's it. That's it. All right. Well, let's see. I was trying to look up that stupid monster, whatever that monster formation was, but I can't find it. Okay, so my notes from Matt Campbell. He may talk some things about the portal, whatever. Okay, so we talked about Jeremiah Cooper, the safety, right? He's going to be back. They're not sure he's back, but the first barrage, it should tell you how important this guy is to the program, that the first barrage of questions is, okay, how's he doing? Like, is he at least trending back towards being back? He's like, they've had follow questions. Like, so you're saying he's probably, like, they pinned him down about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what he said is that what they finally got him to say was that he has a much better chance of playing than he does of not playing, and he's liked the way that he's looked. So it looks like Jeremiah Cooper, we're going to have him active on senior night here as the Iowa State. What are they? The Cyclones?
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't wait to get out of this conference. They take on.
That's an easy one. They're up there, Tornado Alley.
Yeah. 5 interceptions through his first 8 games this season. As I've said before, him plus TJ Tampa, probably my biggest fear about this team. I think the 24 out of 24 in the red zone probably is another thing that's scary to me. But as somebody in the chat mentioned, that's an area where Texas has been actually good, red zone and third down defense. So it matches up there well. It's funny, man. So they asked him kind of about TJ Tampa, and I've been talking so much about him. They're just like, because he's continued to just be like a revelation. I'm sure he's gonna. Blake, can you just pull up like a draft list and see if he's gonna be a first round pick? Are people talking about him like that? You just type in TJ Tampa NFL draft and let me know what comes up. He looks like he's a good player. They said in him when he was younger, they saw God-given athleticism. They said where they really saw it at first because they were asking him like, how good do you feel now about the fact that you made him play cornerback? And he's like, dude, well, a ton went into that decision. But he says it started out. We saw him play basketball, right? And we just saw this incredible athlete, and we saw him play wide receiver. Then we saw some reps at corner whenever he came to the camps, and we just thought he's a true NFL corner. And the best bet for his future is to take his athleticism and mold in a corner. But he said that the hardest part about it with TJ Tampa, and to me, it just goes to show what a baller this guy is that in basketball, I guess he was like a shooting guard or something. Like he said in basketball, he's like a ball hog and a scorer, right? He just has this mentality that he wants to score all the time. And he said that's something that's hard whenever you want to teach him to play corner. It's like he really wants to play wide receiver and just score. You know what I mean? He just that's what he wants to do.
I'm seeing him anywhere from 50 to 100, Alex. 93rd best draft prospect. PFF has him. They had him jumping into the top 50 as of a couple of weeks ago.
Top 50 play. I mean, he's good.
He's a good player.
Yeah. He's my biggest worry. Right?
Projection, second round late.
Rocco Becht was at the availability with the players with TJ Tampa. They had Rocco for the offense. Rocco Becht is their quarterback. Is Anthony Becht's son, ex tight end for the New York Jets and other teams. You know him very well as a NFL or as a college football analyst that used to be on. What was he on? Blake Fox or something. He's like a super B team guy, right? Texas would get him whenever they were playing real bad. You know what I mean? They would get him. But now he's the XFL coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Oh. So he's the head coach. And so he's his dad's a football guy. Rocco Becht. He's still a young dude. But anyway, he was saying him and TJ Tampa were going back and forth, and I guess that the whole thing about him switching to defense when he was younger and things like that, and now him being such a stud NFL draft kind of prospect and everything, they kind of talked about it, what he thought about it. I think that's why they asked Matt Campbell, because they had that conversation with them as players and the player availabilities before. And they said that Rocco said that he plays on D because he has terrible hands. And dude, Matt Campbell said Rocco shouldn't say a lot about athleticism to a whole lot of people. He said, we don't get me wrong, we love Rocco, and it was nice to see him do some running last week, but he should keep his athleticism comments to himself. What do you even get?
It's Matt Campbell telling his quarterback to lay off the Chick-fil-A.
He kind of wasn't joking either. He's kind of like Rocco's talking about somebody's athleticism.
Rocco said what?
I would, and before I heard that, I would mention that, in that BYU game, we did kind of see a little bit of the quarterback, petering out there a little bit, using his legs and stuff. I was going to say maybe that's something to watch, because he did look a little bit okay. After Matt Campbell says this stuff that he's got zero athleticism, I'm not worried anymore. It's like, that's his own coach. So it's just something to keep in mind there. The guy's not a very good athlete, but he did say that, for Rocco, in fairness, he said that just to be able to go up against Tampa, because they do so much good on good in practice, it's something that's like, he's like, I can't tell you how much it helps me as a coach to have him go up against somebody like that all the time. They asked him about senior night, sort of what that means. And he just basically said, he's like, what it means in a game like this, because the reporter's like, for the seniors, they don't have many upperclassmen on this team. Right. That's why I know coaches all the time talk about this stuff like, well, we have our senior leaders and, blah, yada, yada. You're just like, man, who cares about that? Well, but in the end, man, coaches really care about that stuff. And generally, if the coaches really care about it, there's got to be some kind of signal to it. I mean, there's got to be some kind of importance to having, senior leadership to, as far as helping with your culture and all the rest. And if this is a team that doesn't really feel like it has much of that, all their players are talking about how they're all young, and very few of them have very much. He talks about Jeremiah Cooper as one of the most seasoned guys on his team, and this guy's a true sophomore that missed all of spring and all of fall camp. And that's one of your most tenured veterans. It's crazy. We talked about the running back clown car, but he just says, this senior group, the ones that are left, like this. He said that what they've done is nothing short of remarkable. He just said that they've just been a team that's like persevered through hard things. They've lost all these guys. They've done all this stuff. I think for these, like, I don't care what he thinks about his senior class. I truly don't care what senior night means to them. It means nothing. It means less than zero to me. What does mean something to me is this is a team where the narrative around them by the people who cover them the most closely, it's like, geez, man, you really have no seniors. They don't really have that many of these guys. Rocco Beck says that this is by far the best defensive front that Iowa State will play or has played this year. Whenever he watches film, he was talking about how he can't believe. I guess he's talking about he can't believe that a former lacrosse player is leading their team in sacks. I thought that was funny. That's the talking point up there. They're talking about, like, I guess Ethan Burke, and he used to play lacrosse or all the rest of it, and they were kind of asking him about what Rocco said, and he just said it's not just the defensive front. He just said, so they're uber talented everywhere. He said it's Texas. What they've been, he says it's Texas. It's what they've been about. Sark's done a great job of continuing to build that program to what it has the ability to become. Elite special teams, great players at all levels of the defense, veteran offensive line, elite offensive playmakers, great quarterback. What a challenge for this young team to step into the arena with them. We'll have to have a great team game plan to win the football game. So again, another reference to young, right? A lot of youth on this team. And I don't ever want to overlook Iowa State. Like I said, especially with their coverage grades, they've been good on defense. Matt Campbell's a G. He's a good coach. It feels like he's lost some of the has Matt Campbell lost some of the shine that he might have had?
I would say a lot of the shine. Yeah.
I think he's still a G and a good coach.
I think so too.
Good ball coach. I think Iowa State would be crazy to get rid of the guy.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree.
They'd be crazy. I mean, they wouldn't after this season.
No, he's as good. You got to think of what Iowa State is as a program and what he's done there as a whole. Like he's a good coach. Even if there was a time when he was being, talked about for NFL jobs and big time college gigs, and he decided to stay there at Iowa State. I think he probably
and they're going to repay his faithfulness on that thing. They're going to stick with him unless things get really haywire, and they haven't gotten super haywire. Andy's developing good players and putting dudes in the league. They're this Jeremiah Cooper dude, this TJ Tampa dude. These dudes are going to play in the league. The guy that I worry about, the number 13, Jalen Noel, looks like an NFL wide receiver to me. So they asked him about tiebreakers. Of course, he doesn't care. He's like, we're not going to talk about it. We talked about the evolution of the running game, starting out having no running game. Now he's finally got, some guys where he's saying he's got these true freshmen that played the best game of their careers last week, all this stuff. He feels like they're finally playing up to their potential, but it is the clown car. Dude, they talked to him about because concerns about sign stealing, right, with everything going on. And I love hearing coaches talk about that. So he says, he said, I don't know. I think it's a world where it's been a major factor for 10 to 15 years. We've completely overhauled systematically how we call plays, and we did that over a year ago. You got to have awareness. And he said, obviously, we might be going to the NFL system, and that's a long time coming. Hopefully all this craziness will get us there to where we need to be, which is the NFL system. Communicating to a quarterback or a linebacker on defense would also help the kids prepare for the National Football League. And to me, I was just like, why have I never crusaded for this before in my life?
Yeah, it's obvious.
Why have I never said? I'm like, dude, let the quarterback have communications in his helmet. Let the linebacker have communications in their helmet. Sign stealing goes away. And why have I never thought? Like, I think about football so deeply and stuff. Mm-hmm. I guess I just never really thought about sign stealing.
Well, this is what they did in baseball recently too. After the Astros scandal, now pitchers and catchers have comms that just directly they know what pitch. They just have a little system. So I think it's interesting. I think obviously the NFL already does it. There's no reason not to just implement it into college.
Well, and I was just doing a little bit of reading on it earlier, and they got this thing called Player X that's by the comms company that does all the sideline to they're based out of Auburn, Alabama. They do all the sideline to booth comms and stuff like that for the coaching staff and all the rest, and for the players to get on when they're on the sidelines. And they said they already have this one called Player X that's like ready to go, that they can just integrate into the college's systems literally immediately once it becomes allowed. And oh gosh, I just got distracted by Working Man saying he goes to the Iowa State games in a pink brassiere.
Alex, squirrel.
Oh, goodness. The
nicely done, Working Man.
The fact that he says obviously we're going to be changing to the NFL. I think the coaches have gotten some memo to where I think that thing happens next year.
Yeah, I think it does.
It's gonna happen next year, and he's right, dude. It's gonna help everybody. I'll bet you that helps. I mean, because when can the NFL? When does the communication go out? Is it 10 seconds Is it the last 10 seconds of the play clock? If we get Sark telling the quarterback what he sees on defense with the way guys have shown where they're going to align and their motion, stuff like that, and we can take it down to like 10 on the play clock, Texas will be a lot more deadly. Think about this. It's like
Cody says 15. Cody says 15.
Okay. Think about that. Think about what Sark is going to be able to tell. Think about how much better a guy like Malik Murphy or a new quarterback like Arch Manning or stuff like that. He's like, look at, like put the blue dog on that safety, and they're like, I got the blue. He's like, all right, now I kind of. It's like blue dog. It's like, what? I would have never called that.
Mm-hmm.
Helps them learn kind of to see what the coach is seeing there in real time. Helps them understand what's going to be required of them and assume that they understand at the NFL level. It's like, get them comms, dude. It's like, why haven't I just? I should have been railing about this before it looked like it was going to happen. Like, this has been like, it's the perfect thing that I should have always been right about all along. That I could just.
It's like an "I told you so," but he didn't even say it initially.
Yeah. Well, if I'd have been smart,
I told you so.
If I'd have been smart, I would have told you so. I should have told you so. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I should have told you so.
Campbell's right. Campbell's right.
All right. We got Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Know anything about hockey or anything? Are there any football?
I saw Jason said there was a hockey taco in there.
Those hockey tacos usually hit, right?
Usually, yeah.
It's those basketball tacos that are too cockamamie.
Well, the NBA is kind of a cockamamie sport.
Do you know anything about Jordan Bennington, the St. Louis goalie?
That guy sucks.
Does he?
He's not very good. Yeah.
23 saves.
Oh, he could have 23 saves, though.
He's got it every game.
Yeah, again, because goalie saves are not necessarily based on the goalie, but based on how much the other team shoots, so. Maybe
I'll just look at what let's see. NBA, any of this stuff. Anybody have anything, man? We got a game tonight. Who's EMC? Eastern what?
Toledo.
We know who any of these guys are. Cody, hey Cody, do you have any of this on unabated?
Jeff Undercuffler. That's a hell of a name.
Well, I mean, look at this. Does he normally do this? I don't think he's going for 185, is he? Who's he playing? But I don't know who EMC is.
EMC.
Cody, do you have any blocks for college football tonight? He says
it's Eastern Michigan. I don't know. I guess Eastern Michigan College.
Money B saying what? The Toledo running back? Which one? The Toledo running back for rush yards. Let's see. Daquan Finn? No. Penny Boone? Toledo RB? You think, oh gosh, Roto Grinders has him going under. Do you have him going over, Money B? Let's see. Which of these looks like it makes the least sense?
Jaquez Stewart under via Cody Carpentier.
Jaquez Stewart under? Under what? $7.5. All right. I'll take the under. Huh.
Jalen Buckley under rushing.
Jalen Buckley under. Buckley. Oh, he's going under.
And Jalen Jackson under rushing.
Jalen Jackson? Oh my gosh. Am I going to make a – hold on.
Sounds like nobody's running the ball this game.
All right. I like that one. 20 to win 2, honey. I'll take it. I might even make it 25 today. I like all these. Let's see if we can make it 250. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, since we brought up hockey, did you see the story from a couple weeks ago about the guy who killed another guy in the Elite Ice Hockey League in Europe? So
what did he do?
The former NHL player
hit him with a stick.
It's going to be hard to explain without the video, but this is in an actual hockey game. Defender makes an egregious move, tries to injure the guy with the puck by jumping, and it looks like he's trying to kick his chest almost, and the skate blade goes up so high and slits the guy's neck, and he dies on the ice. That happened 2 weeks ago. It's a former NHL player that died. And so it's been big news. There's been a lot of people complaining about it. This guy should be arrested. He got a standing ovation yesterday in the arena for coming back, the murderer, basically. Got a standing ovation. But today, thankfully, Matt Petgrave has been arrested and charged with manslaughter for what happened.
Did this happen? This didn't happen in America?
It happened, in the Elite Ice Hockey League, which is a league in Europe. But it was a former NHL player that was killed.
Bad guys going to jail. It's good. It's fun, right?
Thanks,
it's fun. Golly, what
a you got to watch the video. It's wild.
Yes, it sounds wild. Well, hey man, it's been a wild day today. We got a lot. We've gotten to a lot. We have the offensive line. We'll break down tomorrow. Thursday, of course, we'll have. What do we do on Thursday? Keys to victory, something like that. I forget.
We'll do something fun.
It's always fun. It's always fun. We're gonna figure everything out. We have so much to get to. We'll have Sark's availability on Thursday for sure. Anwar, I believe, is Wednesdays. Cody Carpentier on Fridays. We're rocking through the week coming into
9-1, baby.
Yeah. You know, Blake and I are super thankful for you guys in the chat, super thankful to have this show, and we can't thank you enough, man. So we'll see you at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. For Blake, I'm Alex. We're done.